Hey Canucks fans, tonight it's the Canucks versus the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues on 70s night at Rogers Arena. I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, November the 5th. Yes, it's a game night. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the game tonight. I sold my tickets to a good friend of mine, but I will have a small hand in the game. If you're at the game tonight and you're there for a puck drop, just before puck drop, the Canucks will be releasing a new video, a very short video that Marie, my good friend and co-collab partner in crime, Marie, my brother Jason, and I worked on. You won't see our lovely faces, but you'll definitely hear Marie's voice. Thankfully, you won't hear my voice. And we put together a little song, a little soundtrack for a video that they were showing tonight as part of 70s Night. So, can't say much more, but if you're at the game, make sure you shoot me a tweet or comment on this video and let me know that you saw it and, more importantly, heard it, and tell me what you thought. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited that the Canucks have a really true test playing against the St. Louis Blues tonight. And, obviously defending Stanley Cup champions, the Blues have got off to a really good start as well, just like the Canucks. And, a lot is being made about this weaker October schedule for Vancouver. So it'll be good to see how Vancouver stacks up against, obviously, a strong team like St. Louis. And November will be tougher. Less rest and tougher teams. They're playing Nashville twice. They got Colorado in there. They have Winnipeg. Of course, tonight, St. Louis. I think there's Washington and near the end of the month. So there's a lot of good teams that the Canucks will be playing against this month, and it'll be a good test for them, obviously. And yeah, and we can continue to see if this team's for real. I think it is. We all like to think it is, and we're starting to see that. I hinted at this yesterday in my vlog that when they're moving up power rankings throughout the league, they're moving up playoff projection models throughout the league. I love it when ESPN and TSN and all these outlets do lists of top 10 players right now, or the best player from each team, or actually that's a bad example because every team gets someone, but top players in the league, or fantasy gems or whatever it may be, and you're starting to see Vancouver Canucks players on these lists. And that wasn't the case for the past 4 or 5 years. Once in a while you would see it, but now more regularly the Canucks are one of the top 10, one of the top teams in the league right now. And to see them on lists of, like I said, whether it's playoff prediction models or power rankings, whatever it may be, it's really, really good to see. And it obviously makes you proud as a Canucks fan. And speaking of, top team in the league, tonight technically could be a battle for the first overall in the Western Conference. Yes, Edmonton has 22 points, St. Louis has 21, and Vancouver has 20. So if St. Louis wins in regulation, then they're up to 23 points, and they will be the top team in the Western Conference. If Vancouver wins, and say in regulation, they'll be tied with Edmonton, but playing one less game than them. And then if Vancouver wins in regulation, they'll be not in regulation, in extra time, overtime or shootout, then there'll be a three-way tie up there for 22 points for all three teams of Edmonton, St. Louis, and Vancouver. But regardless, it's nice to see that, and it's nice to be able to talk about Vancouver as one of those top teams, not just in the conference, but in the entire NHL. Two other things I want to talk about very quickly. I talked about Elias Pettersson being the 6th leading scorer yesterday. Talked about that when I was talking about him being named the NHL's first star of the week. You look at the other top 10 scorers, it's kind of interesting. 6 of those 10 guys are teammates. You have Pasternak and Marchand at the very top, 1 and 2. Then right behind them, you have Draisaitl and Crosby. What am I talking about? They have Draisaitl and McDavid as 3 and 4. Then you have John Carlson at 5, Pettersson at 6, and Ovechkin at 7. So if you take Pettersson out, the 6 top guys are all teammates, and 2 of the 3 pairings are line mates, of course. That's Pasternak and Marchand for Boston, then Draisaitl and McDavid for Edmonton. Of course, Carlson and Ovechkin of Washington are not line mates. Carlson's a D-man, Ovechkin's on a forward, but they play together on the power play, of course, and I'm sure a lot of Carlson's assists are going up to Ovechkin up front. So again, the top 10, 6 of the top 7 are indeed teammates. You have Pasternak, Marchand, Draisaitl, McDavid, Carlson, Pettersson, Ovechkin, and I believe it's a combination of guys like I can't remember who the bottom 3 are, actually. I looked at it before. The bottom 3. You guys can look it up. I had it memorized and then I forgot, obviously. A little scattered this morning. Maybe I'm excited about my video at tonight's game, or the Canucks video featuring our music in tonight's game. One other thing I want to talk about, Adam Gaudette. He is going to, looks like he's going to play on the wing, on Bo Horvat's wing, along with Tanner Pearson. That is, of course, if the Canucks play how they practiced yesterday. Now, yesterday they had a full practice. Today, and I broke that down yesterday. Today, Likely, as on game days, they'll probably do an optional skate, and then Travis Green will likely speak to the media about his lineup. So I don't think I'll have a chance to do a video later today. But it looks like Adam Gaudette may get a chance to play on the second line on the wing, like I said, with Horvat and Pearson. And I think this is a really good move. I don't worry about that. Oh, how come Gaudette's not playing center? He needs to develop as a centerman. We've seen that wingers can play center, and he has time. He can practice, center positioning, faceoffs, all that during practices, but or game day skates or whatever it may be. But he can line up on the wing, and he's young enough where he can still convert to center down the road. And I heard a good discussion on the radio this morning, TSN 1040, saying you'd much rather him playing second line minutes on a wing, like with a guy, quality players like Horvat and Pearson, than say center minutes in the AHL. Of course, Gaudette will say he'll want to play in the NHL as opposed to the AHL. So I think Gaudette can really thrive as a second line winger. Obviously he's going to get a lot of minutes, and he doesn't have to worry as much about defensive responsibilities. Doesn't have to worry about faceoffs if he's got Horvat, the faceoff machine, on his line. So Gaudette can really concentrate on skating fast, skating up and down the wing, winning board battles, and putting the puck in the net, creating chances, either going to the net or sending the puck at the net. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens tonight with Gaudette on the wing. And yes, right now, you can't displace Brandon Sutter. He's playing very well as a third-line center. Jay Beagle is playing very well as a fourth-line center. And what was a perceived maybe weakness on our team has turned out to be a strength so far with Sutter and Beagle's play in the bottom six. Now, down the road, I'm not necessarily saying Sutter's going to get traded, but when Sutter's contract runs out 3-4 years down the road, then you have Adam Gaudette. He'll be 23, 24, 25 years old, whatever he'll be. And then you can groom him to definitely be a third-line center behind Pettersson and Horvat. But there's a lot of time for that, especially. It'd be different if Sutter was playing poorly or Beagle was playing poorly, but neither of them are, so there's no need for controversy. If you want to get Adam Gaudette in the lineup because he's up here from Utica, then put him on the wing and put him with veterans like Horvat and Pearson, and let's see what he can do. So I'm not worried about that, and he's got a lot of time to move into that center position, whether later this season or definitely long-term beyond this season. All right, Canucks fans, that's what I have for you today. So I wanted to do a little bit of each. Preview tonight's game against St. Louis, talk about Pettersson being among the elite, obviously in the top 10 point getters, despite me not remembering who 8, 9, and 10 are. I'll look it up right after this, and I'll say, oh, dang, I can't believe I forgot that. And then, of course, looking at the fact that Gaudette might likely play on the wing today and how that can be a good thing for him. So I'd love to know your comments, your feedback on any of those things. Are you going to the game tonight? If so, make sure you tweet back at me at Canuck Clay and let me know how that video went across with the crowd. Hopefully it goes well. And then obviously talk about the game, talk about your predictions for the game, talk about Pettersson's play, talk about Gaudette's play, whatever you want to do. I love to read your comments below and do my best to read, react, and reply to them. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the game. Vancouver against the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. 70s night at Rogers Arena. I hope it's a groovy time for all. That was bad. God bless. Go Canucks go.